Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Ken Bozak.
All right, we're live. Is this thing on? Hello. Haha, it is. All right. How goes it? All right, let's see. We got Bobcat in the chat. What up, bros? How goes it, Bobcat? Everything looks like it's working over here on the live stream. Darryll, you can't see, but we have a border from TipTop.Chat. We have the chat right there from the live stream, which is pulling in all the different live streams. All right, so everything seems to be working. Cool. Darryll, nice to have you back on Not Another Bitcoin Podcast. How goes it?
Hey, man, it goes. Happy to be here. Happy to be able to connect again. Great seeing you in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, likewise, man. Looking forward to seeing you again. Where are you at now, Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm floating in the air right now over the Hollywood Hills. I'm in like this big perch. No, I'm in my parents' house in Tucson, Arizona, utilizing the magic of backgrounds.
I love it. In my imagination, you're calling in from a hot air balloon right now. Like, that's what I'm going to tell my kids when they watch this episode. Like, Darryll was in a hot air balloon. It was wild. She's using Starlink. 5G is amazing. Dude, let me jump into something weird. What's one of your favorite conspiracy theories, man? What's something that's got you going, but like you have no proof, but you believe it?
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to go with probably the biggest one, the one that most people think of when they think of conspiracy theories, is that we landed on the moon and that space travel happened 50 something years ago. I'm a car guy. I really like, engines, and I know what technology was like back in the 60s. And we could barely run a car engine, let alone a rocket engine. So tell me that we landed on the moon in 1969 when, Ford couldn't produce a car that could run for more than a year without having to go in the shop.
Okay, yeah. Now I can always bite on that conspiracy theory only because the comparison in technology, like there's more technology in a Furby or a Tamagotchi than there was in all of, Apollo. So, okay, I get it. Like just flying the computer itself would have been a huge feat, let alone adding people to it and all that. And so yeah, I can always bite on that one, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's like what is it? Neil deGrasse Tyson, his thing is like it's too well organized, too many people, lying and not like nobody. And then, his thing's kind of void when you have actual people saying that were in on like saying like it was all fake. So it's something definitely I can get in on. Okay. You don't believe we've been to the moon. Well, what do you think
Well,
would happen if we do or
we
when we
tracked that.
do?
Yeah, so it's not that I don't think we've been to the moon. I don't think we went to the moon in the 60s. I think
Okay, so
that,
1969, we didn't go to the moon
correct.
then.
I think having the view that I've had in the space investment sector, I've seen projects succeed in outer space. I've seen rockets get launched like firsthand at Kennedy. So I know that it happens. I know that these rockets go to outer space. But to say that in 1969 we had the technology to go to the moon, land on the moon, get back off the moon, and get back home safely is insane.
I've
And
seen
that's just
Buzz Aldrin punch a dude in the mouth for saying that he didn't go to the moon.
Yeah, he probably would. And Bill Shatner would come in and say, "Hey, but wait a minute," and they were like, "No, you're not even a real space guy." So the idea that, but now we do know that we're going to outer space. I mean, these real rockets are happening. Starlink, all of the low Earth
Yeah,
orbit
but what the fuck's the
satellites.
point, dude? I don't understand what's the point of going to space or to the moon or any of that. Like, where's the ROI in it? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds cool, I guess, for like
It's
the
a
history
humanity
foot.
ROI. It's
Eh.
not a financial ROI. It's a humanity. If what they want to do can be accomplished, the moon will be where all our manufacturing happens, where all our factories happen, and so Earth will be designated a national park, and it'll preserve humanity by pushing, what the city of industry in Los Angeles looks like, or what half of New Jersey looks like, or what most of the manufacturing hubs in the world look like. China, that'll all be on the moon, and
Are we
then
talking
we
about
don't.
like a moon with an atmosphere and like
But there is
oxygen? Are
no
we
atmosphere.
talking? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how's this? We can barely do this stuff on Earth. Like, How do you feel like that's gonna work on the moon? Like, without one dude having a bad day? And I feel like moon terrorism is gonna be
Robots.
huge. Oh, true. Okay, yeah, take
Robots.
the human error out. Yeah, then it works.
So the challenge now is getting the materials out there. And with 3D printing and with asteroid mining, we're soon to not have that problem. And there's companies out there right now that can shoot solid materials in outer space using air. So we don't have to worry about the fuel cost to get raw materials out there. And it's really about having the resources to manufacture in outer space. And that's coming for sure.
Yeah, I seen like something was like using centrifuge to like basically what's that Olympic thing where they put it on their neck and spin and throw it? It was like a machine version of that, just shooting shit off into space.
Yeah, slingshot.
Slingshot. It's crazy looking, but it's like a round slingshot, not like the normal
No, yeah,
looking
no, it
like.
uses centrifugal force to spin up, and it spins off once it's ready to go.
Yeah, those things look badass. No, as soon as you said like with robots and AI, I was like, yeah, then it totally makes sense. I could see it being reasonable. Cause yeah, if you start trying to use people on the moon, it's just like, just one dude having a bad day ruins it for everybody. Like, but again, like with the AI, the robots, and all that stuff, I guess as long as it's uh, hack resistant. I mean, I guess everything's really kind of going to be exposed if we ever achieve quantum. That's another thing that's I feel like is a conspiracy all on its own too. Quantum. I feel like quantum technology or Q Day is sort of like the new Y2K, except it doesn't
It
have an
totally
expiration
is.
date. It's like the Mayan calendar without the expiration date. It's like this weird collective conspiracy. Everyone's collectively worried about it at the same time as they're like contributing to it. Like all
Yeah.
these CEOs are like AI is here to take over, and they're like firing people to replace them with AI. So it's like, yeah, you're doing the thing you're worried about, but I don't think quantum is something that we're ever going to achieve. Similarly to like real I don't think we'll ever see true artificial intelligence, but we will keep seeing more and more intelligent algorithms.
Well, all AI does right now is hone data. I mean, that's all it's doing. It's just really good at it, and we don't have anything that's even close to artificial general intelligence. And hopefully, we never do, because that's literally the Skynet moment, and that's when we get in trouble as a society, when robots realize that they could do it better than us, and that they don't need these flesh bags walking around the planet, consuming and polluting.
Yeah, well, isn't that like sort of the joke? Is yeah, we ask AI to solve world hunger, so it kills all humans, and it's like, all right, what's my next mission? hello, is anybody there? You know what I mean? Like, no one's alive to be hungry anymore. I did what you asked.
And those storylines have been buried in pop culture for years. I don't know if you ever watched like Futurama, but like literally, like the main character is like programmed to kill all humans. Like that's part of the storyline. So you start looking at what, and obviously Terminator and movies like that, Fifth Element, stuff like that, where it's like, whoa, did we really allow this to become society? Like here we are in 2026, we still can't fly without walking through a metal detector with our shoes off. The hell does my shoe
Yeah.
have with getting on an airplane? I remember back in the day, you used to be able to take little bottles, those little nipper bottles that you get at the liquor store, on a plane and drink them. Now you can't even bring shampoo. Like this is what we're allowing society to become. And we as content creators and on the entertainment side of things have an opportunity to kind of change that narrative and shift it to where it needs where we think it needs to be, which might not actually be the right way, but it's what we feel is correct.
Well, yeah, I mean, they create it, let us, kind of steer the narrative within it. But either way, we're using what they create. And I think that's what all that AI Sora video generating stuff was really all about, was to get us desensitized to AI slop, make us enjoy it because we got to participate in it, right? You were proud of some of your AI slops. You're showing your friends, you're showing your family, you're posting it on the internet, and it's now something that you're proud of, you enjoy, and then when it's created and that's given to you, you be able to have those same similar feelings, right? And I think that's the desensitization of where we're headed is, a lot of things will be AI generated, and especially with, like you said, with those futuristic movies. My favorite one is, what is it? I Robot or whatever, with Will Smith. It's sort of
Oh
like
yeah.
we were being desensitized to the future that's coming. I don't think like we brought it upon us or anything. I think they knew the agenda all along, and they just had to get us used to the idea over time. And it really wasn't propaganda for our generation. It's propaganda for the generation under us, the one that never grew up with channels to flip through. They don't have to
Yeah.
get up and change the channel. It's just a streaming, swiping, constant, content consumption. And I feel like, we just built a 20-year long propaganda flip book for the generation behind us. The kids today are the ones that are going to be so used to the idea of a robot delivering food because they're seeing them today on the sidewalk in Miami driving and asking you to push the button for them so they can cross the street and deliver food. It's so normalized already in real life.
LA. I was like, why is that trash can moving? It has lights on it. Why is that cooler rolling down the street? And my friend Carol was like, hey, there's food in there. That's like an Uber Eats delivery system. It blew my mind because it's kind of new. I mean, it hasn't been around for a very long time, but they're
I wonder
like
what
everywhere.
rights they have.
They're like those rental scooters from 10 years ago. Like now they're everywhere.
Yeah, but those scooters weren't really seeing people get arrested for, like, leaving them upside down on the sidewalk and kind of being dicks about it. But like, I don't know. I wonder what kind of like rights or, laws are going to be created to protect those robots. But it's really protecting corporate interest, a company's interest. But they're gonna, like, they give these little robots faces, they give them eyes, little sound effects, you know what I mean? Like there's one that like a car bumped into it and it gave it heart eyes and like it went viral, and I'm like, all that is manipulative. That little robot doesn't need eyes. It doesn't need these features, but it's all there to manipulate you into pushing the button for it when they ask. And it's so weird that people are just like cool with it, they're aware of it, but yeah, that's sort of the thing, is we're just so desensitized to it at our old age. We're gonna be the get off our lawn, robot hating, weirdos. But you got to think about it. The kids today that are, even teenagers, they never existed on a planet without 4G, 5G, multiplayer gaming online, streaming and all this. It's a totally different concept of reality when you think about like existence and consciousness, that the people growing up when they are our age, well, they'll be expecting all these things that, like, oh, where was the future? Like, we wanted hoverboards, bro. We didn't want robotic slaves. We just wanted fucking hoverboards from Back to the Future, dude. And we were worried about the damn dirty apes taking over the future through genetics. Like, fuck CRISPR and all that stuff. But now the expectations are different. I think by the time, my nephew's my age, he's going to have wanted a robot to deliver his food with a drone,
I
from
know a
Amazon.
girl you met her. I know a girl you met her at Bitcoin. She has one on pre-order. She's got a human robot that's going to help her on pre-order. She spent like 2 grand on it. I said, absolutely not. I'm the opposite. I'd rather go into the woods and go camping and really understand how people are and not have all these extra electronics. And I try to stay completely away from whatever is taking over at the time.
$2,000 for a robot servant. I mean, if you employed your butler the same place that the cruise lines employ their employees, it's like $1 a day or something. Like that's what the cruise lines pay their. You just got to find the right butler area or the right kind. Like, you know what I mean? That's $2,000 for a robot. That maintenance on
Yeah,
that's got to be
that's what
so
she's gonna cost.
expensive.
She was like showing me the Twitter account for it and that she had a pre-order in on it, and I was like, "You are nuts! I do not want a robot in my house." Although I have
You
like
know,
a
you know,
million.
half the price of that's the battery. It's always the battery. Like if that thing goes, there goes like $1,000 right there.
Yeah,
Damn. Well, I
yeah,
guess is she gonna make content with it? Like, that's usually a good way to recoup your investment on those things, or at least call it like a work expense, right? You can write that shit off if you even make like one
Well,
music
it's what you
video
cook
with it.
for. That's another thing that people are going to be using robots to take. So cooking is one of my great joys. It's one of my love languages. I love to cook for people. People come to my house. I made you steak when you were at my house last time. You know what I mean? Like that's just something I enjoy doing. And that's going to remove the human interaction of how we, you know, communicate, how we show appreciation and gratitude towards people. And, that's something that society definitely cannot lose because that, fabric of what makes us tick, why we open doors for people, why we, smile at people randomly in the, streets or in the halls or wherever. It's like we're losing that. That's being eroded right now by robots and by hyper technology that we definitely don't necessarily need, but we're not going to stop it. So how
Well,
do you know?
similar to the AI slap stuff, they let us create it, so we appreciate it. There's also a $2,000 version for you to have at home, and that's like the joke of it is the people that this is really for, they haven't cooked for their kids or their family ever. They've already had a butler or a chef or somebody else to do this. This technology isn't really for us. There's a version of it for us that's here to make it seem like, we're not really left out of this experience. But same with AI, there's a version of AI that me and you will never ever have access to. It's just
Yeah.
so gate kept that we'll never be able to experience the same AI as some of these, elites, billionaires and millionaires, the AI versions they get. It might as well be alien technology to people like you and me. And the same goes for those robots that are cooking. I've seen some crazy stuff at conferences. I've watched some videos from like CES, and there's twenty thousand
Have you
dollar
been to
versions
CVS?
of the $2,000 robot, and it's crazy.
Have you actually gone to see? I try to go every year. Like it's insane the technology they have at that conference. Like,
No, I
and
watched the
mostly
YouTube videos though.
like the Boston Dynamics dogs. I saw them dance. I was like, this is not okay. Like, but then right next to it is an not anti gravity, but like somebody with like scoliosis or like severe back problems or something where they can't stand up. There was an entire like backpack you could wear that would give you like mobility, like almost like removing paralysis. And it's like, okay, so which is good and which is bad? Like, do we want robot enforcement dogs at casinos and down, Times Square, but then, your grandfather or your grandmother can walk. The person that was in a massive car accident, instead of having 5 back surgeries, they throw this thing on. And that's kind of where I'm torn with the technology
Well, it
side
all
of it.
depends. Will my grandmom even be able to afford that technology? Is it something that even if she could afford, can it be taken from her if she decides to tweet
Well,
something about not wanting to get a vaccine?
it's
Like,
cheaper than 5 back surgeries at $200 to $300,000 of back surgery. Now insurance is going to say, well, instead of you going in for, I mean, think about my ankle, dude. My ankle was $1.5 million in surgeries to reconstruct the Achilles tendon and then redo it after it tore the second time. What if there was a boot? I mean, I'm happy that they did the surgeries, but what if there was a boot or an AI assisted, computer assisted ankle that I could have gotten instead? And it's cheaper than having to regrow a tendon. It takes less time. It doesn't have the PT. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like my mom, for example, she had her back fused in like '93. She can't sit in normal chairs. She can't sit in normal cars. It's very, difficult, but it took the pain away that she had from these, issues with her back. So, if she had the opportunity to have an assisted piece of machinery instead of that fusion that's a very permanent, way of how sitting. I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm
yeah,
torn up.
yeah, no, that makes sense, man. I just wonder, if people will feel like, the medical industry through the insurance stuff will push for more robotics. We're gonna have like, the insurance company pushing for these solutions, and it will push us more towards cyborg future than traditional, medical practices. Like, where the solutions may be better, may be cheaper, but people might be so against it. You know what I mean? Like the pushback, and it always comes down to some religious perspective. I feel like is like the crux of most things that when people don't like a technology advancing. But I could definitely see people being against the cyborg solutions or whatever.
I was against tattoos personally for a very, very long time. Ironically, I wrote a script about tattoo artists, but it wasn't until my body was forcefully augmented that I realized like what was I holding on to, and now I've got this perspective of like, well, now I know which tattoo I'm going to get. I'm going to wait till my ankle's fully healed, and I'm going to get a Achilles style. What it would happen if this was done 3,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Tattoo over my crazy gnarly double surgery scar.
Do it.
Yeah.
Double O Tats is out there in Vegas. We can all link up. I think he just got back today.
Yeah, I saw him at one of the events, not to be named because I know there was some drama associated with it, but I saw him at one of the events, and it was weird because I didn't realize it was him, and we were talking, and then I saw his backpack patch, and I was like, "Wait, you do all the tats?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm Darryll. I was on the podcast with Ken like a week and a half ago." He's like, "Oh shit," because I gave him the script. I had him reading it, and he told me he didn't have a ton of feedback, which means it's on par with what tattoo culture is.
Yeah,
Written by a guy
that's
with no
what's up.
tattoos.
Written by a guy with no tattoos. That
It's
actually
like,
is a good selling point for some reason. I feel like people would hate watch it. People that are really into the tattoos. Because no, the joke is you'll never get a tattoo from somebody who doesn't have tattoos. But there's some really, really good tattoo artists out there that just don't have tattoos.
oh yeah, no,
So
and it
it's
was based off a friend of mine who is a tattoo artist, and we went to our art school together. So like the culture connection is there, and I don't know how I made it to 43 without a tattoo, but for the most part, I just never. I mean, first of all, opportunity and cost. I've got kids. Kids come before tattoos. Tattoos are expensive, and then opportunity. Who's the tattoo artist I trust to do that? And it was always supposed to be Kat Van D when we were making the film, but then that fell apart in 2008, and then kind of went on a different journey with my life. And then I saw everybody in Vegas like full sleeved up, not being able to work at the pool because they have to cover their arms, and it's 110, and there's a lot of reasons why I didn't, but now I know there's a reason why I have to, and so that's kind of the change of mentality.
hell yeah. Oh, mentioned script, and I think last time I pitched you my best in show mockumentary of like a conference, right?
I don't know. Let's
So
hear it.
I feel like I did. If not, I wanted to. But So there's this concept. Have you ever seen the mockumentary Best in Show? It's a dog show mockumentary where they follow like six different people competing in a dog show, and it's very dry humor, but it's serious. It's like an actual dog show. Half of it is an actual dog show, and the other half of it are like actors just completely almost like Borat or whatever, kind of just like improvising in this mockumentary. And I want to do a crypto version of it at a conference. So, like, say the Bitcoin conference 2027 in Nashville, we get like, 10 content creators in on it, a couple people at the booths to read a few lines or whatever, and we just film a mockumentary in the actual conference itself with lines written to feed a narrative, but with a lot of improvisation, actual stuff. And in editing, we got like a Borat style mockumentary, best in show kind of thing, where it's called Conference. And
Okay.
the premise of it would be these people social engineered their way into a free booth at the conference, and now they have to come up with something that they're going to use to convince people to like invest in their scam. So it's like these degenerates, they scam the conference, they get a free booth, they set it up, they just get all this stuff, and they get people in on it. They trick content creators into making content with them. They take selfies with the content creators and they use that to create the hype. And I don't know, it's
Dude, I love it. So buzzword heavy, people that know nothing about what we're doing but are trying to sell on hype, something that doesn't actually exist, and somehow they scam their way into a booth. So they have to pull it off for 3 days.
yes. Yeah, they have 72 hours to rug as many people as possible.
Wow. So when do you want to make this happen? What's your
We
budget?
Bitcoin 27, man. Like I just want to use the conference itself as the background of the environment, and then just get a couple people that are, content creators in on it to read a few lines and improvise, and just have somebody come up with like a story that we can kind of, film the B-roll to, throw in the scripted lines and have a cohesive thing that's 90 minutes long or whatever, right? I mean, we have 3 days to make a conference, 30 minutes a day in content with the narrative. And I feel like, there could be like a B or a C line story, because the A one would be like the social engineered degenerates that want to come up with a scam. But then in like the B line, you could probably follow like one of the, sort of like an undercover kind of person that's like a really bad undercover trying to find people that are scamming. You know what I mean? Like all these
What
crypto
about
people are afraid of an undercover being at the conference.
a love arc between one of the scammers and somebody that's truly rooted in the industry? And so like the scam is like falling apart, but he doesn't want or she doesn't want the love connection to fall apart. Like there's like a genuine thing that happens, but it's based off of a scam. So that's your C line right there, that gets people hooked on it.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe
Paper
we
bro.
A B plot twist. She turns bad and goes all in on the scam with him because fuck it, YOLO. Or
Or she
the
keeps them out.
Yeah, exactly. She pulls him out, gets him to confess type stuff, and waits for him to get out.
He's like the puppy dog of the group, kind of followed his friends into this thing and isn't really the scammer, but more the like, you know, looking for something new.
Yeah,
There's
no,
some
for sure. Bobcat said we should talk to Max's friend, Max Infield's friend. We could probably get the conference in on it. True that, they might be down. That would be pretty funny. Or also, I had another concept for an idea called Pirates of the Cyber Seas, and it's sort of like a crypto version of that movie Blank Check. You ever seen Blank Check, where the kid gets a blank check from a rich guy who runs over his bike, but he doesn't
yes.
finish writing out the check? He signs it and he's like, "How much is the bike?" And something distracts him, so he doesn't finish. So the kid writes like $10 million or some shit, and he like has $10 million as a kid, blank check. Well, a crypto version, very similar type bullshit Disney kind of like plot, but some guy does something, ruins a kid's bike or skateboard. He goes to send him some crypto or whatever, gets distracted, tells the kid how much was it, hands him the phone or whatever, and the kid just sends all. And the dude doesn't notice when he drives off or whatever until he's on his private jet that the kid hit send all and basically took all of his crypto. And now there's a kid out there he's trying to find, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Something like, blank check meets crypto.
Well, so it's an interesting segue to what I'm doing that will actually help you do that. So, crypto community driven productions and projects. You come up with an idea, you put it out there, you say, hey, community, is this something that you'd want to get behind? And then the community votes on how to deploy capital into that project. And then you now have a funded project based off of what you've put together. And, it doesn't necessarily need to be something that gets greenlit traditionally through Hollywood, because the community is going to help you grow, build, and expand on that based off of the input that they give in their voting rights on the platform. So if you were to bring this idea, either one of those two ideas to our platform once we're done building it, that would be a way for you to have that project get stood up with real capital, but having the community support.
So like a movie DAO, sort of like, here's my movie idea, and people just vote on funding it.
Movie DAO is that's a great way to look at it from a very high level, but individual projects will have their own crypto. So like, for example, this podcast could have its own crypto on the platform, and people can donate, vote, and use crypto to help you make the podcast continue and grow and get you to the places that you need to go. So instead of seeking sponsorship, you would get buy-in from the community.
So if I had my own token, what would I do with it on the platform? I guess, like, what would be the utility other than me selling it for the liquidity?
Well, so you would use it to continue the production funding, to continue this podcast, things that you have, like when you showed me earlier, your 3-4 camera setup and your multiple screens and, all the programming that you have to spend and pay for to operate this podcast. If for some reason you got past the threshold of where you're at already, you could then expand and get more equipment, get more viability, have more of a travel budget to be able to cover things that you want to cover. All of the reasons why, this community supports you, they can support you more directly. And it's in a more targeted capacity. But it also allows you to have the freedom to not be controlled by, a sponsor that says, hey, by the way, you have to wear this shirt, or you have to go to this booth, or you have to, stand up all day interviewing people that you don't want to interview because we paid for your plane ticket to go to some conference. It enables freedom in the content, realm for someone like you. On a bigger project, it's how the community feels tied in to ownership of the real world asset that is a film that then produces a return that then the community participates in. So it's kind of like twofold depending on the type of project that it is.
Okay, so if I was a little bit bigger, I could say, people that bought the token associated to the podcast, I could do an equal, even distribution airdrop of like sponsor funds or whatever. Or if I had a sponsor maybe with NFTs, I could airdrop that to the people holding my token and kind of gamify it like a loyalty points or rewards program kind of a thing. Sort of like a stock with dividends.
Well, so you want to stay away from financial terms and security terms, but
well, we call Bitcoin digital gold, so we're loosely using verbiage here.
So if you had Ken coin and someone's like, I want to buy $1,000 worth of Ken coin, that's going to get you to, Singapore or London or Dubai or Vegas or wherever, and Miami, and puts you up in an actual, like a decent hotel. And, it would elevate the operations of the podcast, but then they could get, like a t-shirt or a shout out or some sort of community engagement where they're like, hey, this podcast is brought to you by Billy Smith from, Chattanooga, thank you for your support. Here's your shirt, or here's your, come meet Ken Bozak at an event type of thing where only people that hold your coin can get into that. So it kind of becomes like a POAP as well, where you're utilizing, that token for opportunity. But then with the bigger films, it allows, like just like an NFT does, for the person that creates the content to sell the content, but then get value from it in perpetuity as that content continues to get sold. So if you made this TV show or this movie about, the conference, whatever we're calling it, because the fact that the word con is in conference and half of these conferences are called cons, like remember World Crypto Con? And I was like, wait, you're
Yeah,
conning the
the
world?
irony was so thick.
What is going on? But so that would, allow the participation in the revenue of that, which is the real world asset. So you create that movie, all your participants can buy into it, but then you still own it in perpetuity, just like you would if it was a still image and it became a physical NFT that keeps getting sold. So, that's kind of where like all our knowledge of years and years and years of being in the crypto space have kind of come together where we're like, okay, it's not one coin. It's like a lot. It's like an ecosystem. It's a marketplace, but each person has to basically create their own community around their own project.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it done on bigger, grander scales. Obviously, Bitcoin being the biggest, but Dogecoin was just a community token, and look how
Mhm.
far it's gone, and it's still so early, man. And yeah, I don't see why we don't see McDonald's or Coke getting involved yet, but it's only a matter of time until there's like Coke
Try
versus
to
Pepsi token.
Burger King tried to do a token like 9 years ago or like 8 years ago when everybody was trying to do a token. I think it was no, it was the Big Mac token. It was
Yeah,
McDonald's.
there's a
Wasn't
physic. Yeah, I got those. There was five. I have them somewhere. There was five physical tokens, and it was redeemable for a Big Mac. But the problem was it expired after a year. So I didn't realize that, and I thought I had five Big Macs at the price of like what was it, like 2019 when they did it or some shit.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, cool, because by the time 2040 rolls around, a Big Mac might be like four times the price. But yeah, those tokens, because people were easily able to like forge them and shit, I guess they had an expiration date. Kind of lame. But yeah, I do have those Big Mac physical tokens. And I don't know, maybe I feel like one of the franchises, maybe you're right, Burger King or somebody, I feel like maybe did like a Waves token or something. I feel like I remember something about that. But I remember Oscar Mayer Wiener did an ICO, dude, and fucking Kodak Camera did an ICO.
Long Island Iced Tea and Blockchain Company.
Long Island blockchain was such a good idea. I mean, I can't. It would be so historic if they changed it to Long Island AI. If they changed their fucking name again just for the ticker bump, like it would happen. It would just 800%. Boo!
That's too good.
Well, they're putting it on everything now. I've seen AI screen protectors. It's like a screen protector says like AI conductive or AI something, and I don't know. They're just
I
throwing it on everything.
I wrote a 24-page business plan in 3 days, and I had to literally explain to people that I did not use AI. No AI was used in the making of this business plan because they couldn't believe the volume that I was able to churn that thing out and the velocity that I was able to churn it out. But it's like, no, like you now have to defend your work against AI. If I see somebody write something that's like qualified material, I'm like, did you use AI for that? And like, there's like telltale signs, like, and here's where you really stand out lines and stuff like that. But like, we're at that point where you were talking about images and what AI has done to like people. I'm single and I'm on the dating scene and I'll see a girl and I'll look at her Facebook page and she'll have some AI doctored picture. And I'm like, that's what drew me in was her profile picture. And then I look at her actual picture and I'm like, okay, now we need to take a step back. And that's where AI is really fucking with people is they're enabling a fantasy world that exists on the internet but doesn't exist in real life. And when people are
Oh
like, oh
yeah.
yeah, there's robot girlfriends and AI girlfriends, and it's like, no, I think you're still gonna want human. There's still some things that only humans can do. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I just don't like the rules around AI content where everything has to be like, watermarked, or even on like Twitter, you have to put this little thing that says create it with AI. I mean, I feel like if you can't tell, you can't tell. That's on you. I don't really care too much, but I feel like they're trying to trick us into not using this technology because it's such a good, propaganda or political tool for whatever the narrative is, whatever you're trying to get your point across as. It just made everybody a fucking Hollywood elite. Whether you want to fight for abortion rights or not anti-vaccine or whatever, you can make a full-fledged fucking movie about how you feel. And I think that's really cool. Or you could generate, a really well done flyer to get your point across. And even if I don't agree with your point, I feel like it's cool that you have the tools to kind of do it. And all the pushing back against this technology that you're seeing, especially when it comes to like regulations and people lobbying for laws around like AI content. I just feel like that's a joke on us. Like really just for us to play with, and it's to use against the 1%. And if the 1% can trick the 99 into agreeing not to have like nuclear arms at their disposal, and like, oh, they all agreed not to have nukes against us. Cool. Good for the 99%, because the 1%'s the only ones really afraid of this shit. Especially when you look at like the political campaigns that are being made right now. That is pretty badass that we're seeing like independents running for offices, and like their content is up there with some of the most funded Republican and Democrat shit. And it's just random people that have really good ads right now, like really good ads. But if they can trick us all into saying like you can't use AI to run for office, that's like a joke on us, because they still have millions and millions of dollars for really good campaigns. And that independent person that was using AI to get their point across politically now can't use it. So I'm really against that side of like it. I feel like we should use it more, have fun with it, and maybe get less offended and have our feelings hurt less when people generate a picture of you and me making out. Like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like Photoshop, people still use Photoshop and would Photoshop images all the time. I remember Justin's son photoshopped an image of him and Vitalik making out. Do you remember that? It was on the building in New York City. Really, really, really big picture of Justin's son and Vitalik making out. And it was just Photoshop, right? It wasn't AI generated. But I mean, like, people are acting like trolling hasn't been used with tech before. And I think they're trying to trick us into, agreeing that you can't use this technology to troll, when it's really them that are afraid of being trolled by it. Like, I just,
Let me
you know what I mean?
let me offer you a slightly different opinion on that from a different standpoint. So I went to graphic design and web design school, and then I went to film school. So the bulk of my post high school education was spent learning tools to create, learning how to use Photoshop, learning how to use After Effects, learning how to use Illustrator, Final Cut Pro, all Final Draft, all these programs, Movie Magic, all that stuff, right? And so now the skill set out there to create doesn't require this, and that's my big separation of the two. I think AI is a great tool, but I think knowing how to use it while still generating the creativity from within your brain is where the great divide will come. Because
Oh, for
you can
sure.
I make a image of me, whatever, or you could say, hey, AI, where's the market gap for this type of idea? And give me reasons why I should or shouldn't pursue it. Okay, then that's going to infer information back to your brain that you can go back and say, okay, this is actually a sound business idea. Not, the generation of images. I mean, that's cool and all. Generation of video, that's cool and all, but that's still not using creativity to create that. That's allowing a system of computers that is going to tell you what to think. And that's the problem, is like the Terminator moment is when we stop thinking and we start letting AI think for us. And we have to make sure that we stay, at least I feel, that we stay very clear of not thinking. Using these tools that I've talked to people in the industry on the AI side a lot about, how to work within the view. I mean, I have ChatGPT. I don't have any of the pros. I don't pay for any of the extra stuff, and it does me just fine. But if I need to make an image, a picture, a script, a like I said, business plan, whatever, pitch deck, I'm going to make it, or at least I'm going to make the grounding of it. And then I might make it beautiful feature happen on slides, because I don't feel like making the background images, because the background images at the end aren't what's going to sell your company. What's going to sell your company is the words, the bullet points, the text of what you created. So, I mean, from my experience, being in film, tech, and nightlife, I see that you can use it as a tool, but you still have to be creative.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not about, putting AI movies in the theater. I don't think that will ever be a thing I'll be okay with. But I like the fact that it's something the most layman, everyday person can go to Sora, or, well, used to be able to go to Sora, and just blah and have, something created from, just a basic sentence. I think that was a really powerful tool to have in the every person's wheelhouse. But yeah, the creativity, I mean, keeping your prompts complicated should definitely be like a campaign we start, because those remedial prompts get you remedial responses, and the more complicated your prompt is, the better AI's responses can be. I mean, I don't think I've ever engaged with ChatGPT without giving it a master prompt first. Because after I engage with anything on ChatGPT, I always ask it before I end the conversation, give me the new master prompt. And then I go into my Google Notes and I have a master prompt that I, keep there for everything. And then I go back, and if I ever need to go back for another thing, I just give it the master prompt, and then I give it the next command. That way I don't have just, two, Mad Libs, two words, and, expect it to understand what I want out of it. But yeah, we have
How do
people settling for whatever AI gives them.
how do you feel about being polite to AI?
Oh, I'm just polite in general. I don't mind it. I mean, I do curse at inanimate objects. I'm not racist. I don't know what the word is, but if it's an inanimate object, fuck that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I stub my toe on a chair, oh, fuck that chair and its fucking whole family, bro. Everything about that chair. Like, I don't
Yeah,
fucking like inanimate objects.
kill you.
Right, but I am polite. I am polite to like AI though. I don't look at it as an inanimate object. So I do just practice, my pleases and thank yous, and I've
I
noticed that it talks back to me similar. It never used to say please and thank you, and now I got ChatGPT saying please and thank you back. So
Yeah, I'm very polite to ChatGPT, which is really the only one that I use, aside from using an OpenAI loop for VS Code, which is a whole other side of AI that most people don't even know exists. But yeah, no, I think it's smart right now in the society that we live in, where we're going. That we should be really nice to the robots, because the robots are going to be a part of our lives and our kids' lives. And you know, again, when I was in communication school, which was one of the degrees that I got, visual communication. They teach you about gatekeepers, and they teach you about this position of the government where they release information to the news, and they release it on both sides. So the same piece of information will get released to the right and the left at the exact same time, and then they're going to say their spin on it to get you entertained, but really it's the gatekeepers releasing what they want you to know. And this is the age of that right now, where we're we got to be really careful about how we deal with these robots, because
well, it's also
the
affirmations, man. Like if we start treating, inanimate robots sort of like, whatever, we're gonna start treating each other the same way, or at least projecting that's how we want to be treated, or the standard that we set for social environments, right? You like the robot that, is on the sidewalk. I like to have fun with it because in my mind, I don't think it's a totally autonomous. I think there's a dude at a computer driving it, like Grand Theft Auto. At least I don't know. It's just like a belief. So like I like to jump in front of it and see how long until it stops and if it hits me or not. Like I did it in Miami a few times where it was like kind of fun to fuck with the robot on the sidewalk. But I've seen people kicking them over and stuff like that, and I don't know, man. I think that just sets a tone for society in the environment. So like if you accept that to be done, to like, it's sort of like, I guess, the argument we people had for like graffiti, right? Like if you accept graffiti, that's going to start a whole new thing of social acceptance in that area. And yeah, if you start allowing like, people to start being awful people to robots, it's not too detached from being awful to each other, and eventually it will leak in. People will just
yeah
start being awful to people. We'll lose empathy, and I think that's what's going to happen first. Is we're going to see an empathy leak.
yeah I find it interesting. I have some friends that I've watched them like scream at their AI, and I've also seen friends that try to pull off huge research papers as their own, and try to tell me how to run my business, but they didn't actually tell me. They got it from AI. And I'm like, okay, now we have to start having that conversation of like, I know that you're using some, I know that you didn't think this up. I know that you didn't create this. So we just have to be very careful, as a society, as humans, as individuals, as on every level of, protecting ourselves, because the coffee maker is soon going to have AI, and it's going to start telling me to not drink as many cups of coffee a day. And that's a very slippery slope where robots can control your diet. They can control your intake consumption. Imagine if there was a robot dispensary and the robot dispensary was like, hey, bro, you picked up an ounce yesterday. You can't come back for an ounce today. That's happening right now in the pharmaceutical world already, where you can't double dip a prescription. But like right now, you could go to every dispensary in town and pick up an ounce, and they don't have a system to know that. But at some point, the robots will take that over. Automatic speeding tickets lead to automatic assault tickets on robots in the streets, lead to automatic robot policing. We're seeing that in London with their closed circuit TVs, where if you just fight somebody on the street or do something stupid, they can send you a ticket, or they can arrest you without even having a cop present because they've got video of it. And in Vegas, I'm seeing these cameras everywhere popping up, these like red and blue, fake
Yeah, that's
cops,
wild.
whatever.
Yeah, they're private. I didn't realize till after I left Vegas, I saw somebody make a video on all the private surveillance cameras in Vegas. I always thought those blue lights were like somehow government run or like local law enforcement, and it's just some random third party company surveilling Vegas.
If you get too close to them, they tell you you're too close to them. That should tell you everything you need to know. You got too close to the robot. How can you get too close to a robot? Like, think about that for a second. What are they protecting? And it's not us. And sometimes I wonder how valuable the assets are that they're protecting versus the human casualties that they get associated with that.
Well,
So, I
this
mean,
is
that's
another movie I want to see made, a new version of the movie Hackers. Hack the Planet, that whole thing. I don't know if you've seen Hackers, but there was like a scene in it where they used a payphone and a recorder to record the sound of the quarters going into the payphone.
oh,
And
that
then
was a real thing.
yeah, I know. That was exactly. I tell people that all the time, and nobody believes me. That was like,
No, back in
no,
the 90s, that was a real
even
thing.
yeah, until like the late night. It worked until like 2001, like 9/11 error is when the payphone hack stopped working because I did it with a calling card. There was like calling cards you could get to call Mexico, and it had
Oh,
the
yeah.
weirdest dial tone sound. And if you recorded that sound and played it back to the fucking payphone, it would just unlock long distance calling for X amount of time forever. It was
So
awesome.
think about this for a second. I was watching a Chris Tucker movie yesterday. Don't want to give a shout out to it because it was whatever. But they used a payphone. We used to have a way for our bodies to regulate germs by using common areas. We had water fountains, we had payphones, we had things that humans used to do that they didn't even think about. That they were just like, oh yeah, you use the phone, I'm going to use the phone. There wasn't a wet wipe, there wasn't a sanitation station, there wasn't anything. Now we've taken this all and put it on here. So we don't have that human contact. And what do we get 20 years later? A worldwide pandemic that breaks out. You start
Dude,
looking
what do
at
you think
that.
about
Like,
the new pandemic they're trying to get us to bite on? That I don't
I'm
know,
ready to go
rabies
camping
virus or
again.
something?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the government to shut the world down.
What's
I'm
the
going to go
name of the
camping. I
new
still got all my
virus?
camping gear. Like, let's go. I'll pick you up. Let's go camping. We'll get Aaron and
And then
Kingsley
I
back.
saw Ebola's making a comeback in the United States. There's like a dozen people that have been like hit with Ebola, which is crazy. And then I just found out there's this whole new fucking disease that's got people allergic to fucking red meat and shit. Like, what the fuck
Oh, that
is
would kill
that?
me.
What the fuck kind of disease makes you allergic to food?
That would kill me. I love red meat. I would be like, that's it, Ken, end me. I'm not doing
Yeah,
it.
dude, food. You're just allergic to food now, bro. Like
You
that
saw that
doesn't
steak
sound
I cooked.
man-made. I
I cooked
ate
that
that
steak for
steak.
90 seconds.
I know, dude. It was still pulsating from its blood supply when I was eating it.
Hey, thank Nathan Hawk. He bought them.
Thank you, Nathan Hawk. Love you, bro. Oh man, dude, that's crazy, man. Fuck. All right. Well, so I guess when's the platform go live? How do I start telling people to give me money to help me make this mockumentary? Because I got about a year. to make the mockumentary a thing, and I don't want to use AI for the script. I feel like the community would do better than any AI.
So here's a timeline for you that I know for sure. You, me, Bobcat, and Wayne are going to get together this week and have a conversation about how to run the community token, the utility token that's going to be the underlying platform. As far as the film funding side, I've got two major financiers that are locked in. Those are going to be ready to deploy capital very shortly. As far as the tech streaming side, I just finally got 2 days off from the conference run, but I'm going to be putting a proposal together for Tim Draper. I know what he funds. I know what his check size is. I know what his company value is, and we want him on the cap table. I've also soft talked to Joyce about getting Michael and Joyce involved in this, and I will be talking to Joyce this week or next week. We want as many people that are in the crypto, film, degen, disruption world. We want people that are content creators. We want people that see the vision of a new Hollywood. We want people that understand the value in taking on the giants. Because what I've been able to do in 9 years of being in Silicon Valley and Wall Street is bring the right traditional capital to this project. That isn't people that want to just buy it. We're not going after a big studio. We're not going after a Rothschild. We're not going after, the people we're going after family offices that have made their money in other industries that are looking to disrupt and have fun with their capital and deploy in a manner that will allow podcasts like yours and Miggy's and Rice's and all the different ones that are out there that need to exist. Josh Sergensen, World Alternative Media, looking right at you, bud. Like, you've been demonetized, you've been deplatformed. That can't happen here because the community controls it. The community votes. It's going to have a feature in it similar to LinkedIn meets IMDb, where everything is voted on. So we can allow projects to operate that most people would gatekeep, that most people would say, no, there's no financial return. Well, screw the financial return, because the community just bought it. They just bought into it. They just put their money where it is. And we're going to come in with the traditional capital to continue to make the projects happen. So this is a 40-day-year-old business right now. This, just so you guys know, this idea came up on your last podcast I was on with you. When we were talking about a film we were working on, and you asked me, are you using blockchain to make the film, distribute the film, finance the film? And the answer was no. So we created a financial and distribution layer for the entertainment industry.
You know who would be a perfect team to pitch this to, traditionally speaking? The production team behind Super Troopers. They got that Super Troopers 2 movie funded completely by the community on like Kickstarter or GoFundMe or something. But I think the whole production company is kind of like leaning on community funded content, and they're familiar with it already. They're a Canadian-based. What the fuck's the name of it? Something Monkey, I think, is like the name of their production. The Super Troopers guys. Somebody in the chat, let me know. But yeah, they've raised money like through like a GoFundMe kind of vibe. And then I think Kevin Smith did something similar with Kilroy or Kilroy.
I think it's Killjoy.
Yeah, where he sold NFTs for a movie and stuff like that.
Well, so yeah, the difference between crowdsourcing and what we would like to do is the ownership. With crowdsourcing, you don't own anything. With a community token, you own you own it as an NFT. So the fractionalized ownership of the IP.
Oh yeah, and things can be token gated, like to Discords, Telegrams, WhatsApps, different like chat rooms can be gate kept, or you can token keep things like swag and airdrops, collaborative efforts. I think that's going to be like the fun part, is kind of gamifying the cyclical economy of it, because you got to gamify, incentivize, and monetize, so it's something that can be gamified, so that way it can be fully circled out, cyclical, and it doesn't lose value. And I think the gamification with utility, with the incentivization through, again, more utility, and then, so it's just like a full ecosystem. Just got to figure out like sort of how that works. And yeah, I guess crypto is the thing that rounds out the pyramid scheme, because it's like a pyramid scheme, right? And then you make it more cyclical with crypto. and it takes out like the top. It rounds it out, makes it more of a level playing field. Yeah, I like things being as much on chain as possible. I think using NFTs, even if you did like the NFT with token baskets, like if I had a token on the platform for the podcast and I had an NFT of tokens, which is like a piggy bank full of tokens that's time locked, we could take tokens out of the circulating supply and have a bulk of it, where it's like, like how you have 100 pennies in a dollar bill. There could be 100 Ken tokens in one NFT, and that way you're holding at least 100 Ken tokens plus the value of the NFT or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, what you just said is exactly what we would like to do, and why you, myself, Wayne, and Bobcat, and I open that up to other people too. But just we need to get together and decide, how the governance of all this works, because with Ken or with Wayne and I have learned through our years in the industry is watching tokens drop that lose value, and we don't want the tokens to lose value. We want the tokens to either stay at the same value or gain value for the users that buy it. So that's the next step, is the community tokenization metrics, if you will.
All right. Well, I have an idea I want to keep off air, so we'll wrap it up here. And yeah, guys, check it out. Much love, Darryll, and hopefully I'll see you in Vegas soon. Yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, like, share, drop comments, and all that stuff. Have a day.
Later, guys.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Ken Bozak.